Hey guys, Phil/Polygon here. Welcome to part 9 in a Purist's Guide to Character Building. Yeah! Upskirt, freeze frame. That's how this would start if it was an anime. But it is not. So, in the last one, we conquered Anor Londo, took out Smornstein, grabbed the Lord Vessel. Now we need to figure out what to do with it. To light or to dark. I think Kaathe is going to serve us a little better. So we're headed for New Londo. Londo on the brain. Here we go. Alright, so following the last one, I lingered in Anor Londo for a good bit, just trying to get some co-op, earn some of those sunlight medals. That also accounts for the healthy chunk of souls down there in my counter that did not exist at the end of the last session. Regarding co-op, man, it was pretty slow going. I guess that makes sense, right? Given the game's age, not as many people playing as they once did. I can't bitch about it too much, because keep in mind, we went through that last little part of Anor Londo in offline mode to ensure we got the sunlight medal for taking out Ornstein and Smo with Solaire. I'm glad I did. There was a long time spent in the middle of a weekend day. You'd think it'd be decently hopping. We did eventually get there, so no worries, but just something to keep in mind. If you're putting together a build and you want to do one of the co-op covenants, Warriors of Sunlight, Princess Guard, whatever reason, co-op ain't what it once was. But we did get our 10, and we cashed them in for our Great Lightning Spear. And that about concludes our time with the Warriors of Sunlight. You guys have been great, no offense Sunbros, but we are on a much darker path. We're going to spend some of these souls and spend a little bit of time upgrading some armor as well. Right around this point I started thinking about armor. What am I going to be using down the way? I called out that leather chest piece a couple episodes back. I really like the way that armor looks. It's very fancy. I think our character's pretty fancy, and that's a good pairing. So I'm going to make sure I can fast roll with that, sink a couple points back in Faith so I can actually cast those Great Lightning Spears, and as I mentioned, just continue to top off in Vitality. That's what we're doing with our money. That's what we're doing with our armor. Let's talk Lord Vessels. So there's two paths you can take once you get this thing. The obvious one, path of least resistance, is just jump back to Firelink and use Frampt to pass it. Toothy Serpent popped out of his little double doors in the ground. He's like, hey, want some enlightenment? Sure. Go get the Lord Vessel, then come back here. That, I guess, is placing it along the good path, though Frampt is pretty manipulative. He is playing you for a sucker. There's another slightly more Easter eggy path. If you don't place it with him and you head straight for New Londo, after you take out the 4 kings atop the abyss, old Kaathe, Champion of Dark, will pop out of the abyss and say like, hey man, plays it with me. I'll give you some insight into the real shit that's going on. So that's it. Those are exclusive to each other. If you place it with Frampt, Kaathe will not pop up. If you place it with Kaathe, Frampt will insult you and then just slink back into his double doors and disappear forever. There's advantages to both, but given that we're a PvP build, or putting together a PvP build, we're going the dark path. We are going to place it with Kaathe down in New Londo so that we can unlock access to the Darkwraith Covenant. There's a couple of items we want from them. We'll talk about that a little bit down the way. There are advantages to placing it with Frampt as well. It's pretty much just nice to have him stick around. You can feed him all kinds of miscellaneous pickups for pocket change, extra souls. He's also pretty handy in terms of manipulating upgrade materials. Placing it with Kaathe, or placing it with Frampt though, is a little bit more of a luxury. You can always farm for upgrade materials, you can always buy upgrade materials. He is not an essential. Whereas the dark path with Kaathe, doing math while taking a bath, is it's very exclusive. There's only one specific point in the game when you can get it, and you can only get it once per playthrough. So if you're doing a single playthrough and you want to do some invasions, New Londo plays it with Kaathe. If you're doing 2 playthroughs, if you're going to go to NG+, like we will with this character, do it with Kaathe the first time, get your orb, because you can use that even when you're not affiliated with the Darkwraiths. Just a great item to have. And then place it with Frampt the second time around so that you can use all his advantages for goodies and materials and just managing inventory shit. So with that, we find ourselves in Darkroot Forest. Man, this place has a little bit of a reputation. We'll touch on that, but first let's touch on the chain of events that require us to come here. Ultimately, we are heading for New Londo. The boss of New Londo, the Four Kings, these were the cats that once ruled this once upon a time great city of the undead. New Londo was a utopia, but the Four Kings got corrupted by the power of the Abyss. Shit went south and the Keepers flooded the entire thing. The Keepers are those guys in the goofy red hats and crimson robes that you can find down in Blighttown. Flooded the city, killed everybody. Four Kings are still down there lurking atop the Abyss, looking to kill anyone who enters. Now, the Abyss is not a safe place to go. If we were to head down there straight away, when we got down there for that boss fight, we would insta-die. We would sink like Artex into the murky, dark, sorrowful blackness of the Abyss. How can we traverse it safely? How can we go all Beatrice on that mother? Well, we come here and pay our regards to Artie's old pet wolf, Sif. He's the boss in the forest. Upon taking him out, you get the Covenant of Artorias. It's a ring that lets you walk safely in the Abyss. Now this place, the forest, this can be a little bit dangerous. We got that fog gate almost instantly when we came in here. We couldn't join up with the Forest Hunter Covenant because it said a phantom was present. But this is the home to a PvP covenant, the Forest Hunters. These guys can get summoned in from anywhere in the world anytime somebody sets foot in here. They will come and kill you and say, get out of our garden. It's kind of a environment of escalation too. A lot of hosts will tell you, forest ain't filled with nothing but scummy try-hard forest hunters. And all the forest hunters will tell you, man, the forest ain't filled with nothing but ganking hosts. And I think everybody's just trying to get a bigger gun to get a leg up on the other guy. I think both sides are right. But if you know what you're getting into, the forest can be a lot of fun for 2v1, 3v1, multiple opponent PvP. It is just knock down, drag out, no holds barred, dirty PvP. And it can be an absolute blast. I think I'm going to take this build in here because she's got her AoE overpowered miracles. That's kind of a no-brainer. But I'm falling deeper and deeper in love with this Partisan and its wide swinging, dead angling R2s as well. I'm really curious to see how this build plays out with 2v1 and 3v1 invasion style situations. There's Sif. Everybody likes Sif. I don't hate him. I think the idea of a wolf wielding a sword is kind of cool, but something about a oversized wolf chomping on a sword the way a dog does a bone strikes me as kind of dumb. I think he's a decently fun boss. He's pretty straightforward. Just dodge his sword swipes to get in close and then hack away at his paws. I always have trouble with the sword too. I think the lightsaber effect always throws me for a little bit of a loop. Maybe just dazzles the eyes and my timing is always off. But for the most part, he's pretty straightforward. He's got a really cool mechanic too, where as you beat him down, he gets injured. So by the end of the fight, he can't keep his feet anymore. He's getting clumsy. His swings are super slow. It's kind of sad to take him out, but for the most part, he's pretty straightforward. And there we go, we just got our Covenant of Artorias. So we're solid to head for New Londo. We're not going to mess with this place anymore. An invader who was trying to connect with us never showed up. I kind of waited around, I kept checking behind me to see if there was some glowing blue phantom tailing me. Gave it one last look and ultimately said, nah, screw it. We're just going to take on Sif. So I don't know what happened there, just a slow connection, I guess. Couldn't catch up with me. There's some pretty cool Easter eggs with Sif regarding the DLC as well. In the DLC, when we venture into Ulasil, we're doing it out of order, but if you go there before coming to the forest, you actually meet up with Kid Sif, Pup Sif, and when you see him in the forest, he remembers you, and he gives you kind of a sad look. Still tries to kill you, but it just makes the fight a little bit more poignant. I think the Forest Hunter Covenant is actually pretty cool as well. It provides for some nice PvP intermissions. You can keep your Covenant ring equipped just while you're out bombing around in the world. And whenever an eligible host sets foot in the forest, it'll pull you in. Just a nice little break from PvEing or something like that if you're interested in it. Also unlocks access to some pretty great items. There is, of course, the Darkwood Grain Ring. That's the sound of me rolling my eyes. You can get a fog ring from those guys. It unlocks Shiva as a merchant, and he'll teach you the look skyward gesture. That's actually why I was joining up with them, or tried to at least. I'll probably circle back and join up with them, and then go hook up with Shiva down in Blighttown, just to learn look skyward. I think that is a pretty slick little gesture. You also get upgrade materials when you successfully invade as a forest hunter. I think I missed calling that one out when I was talking about white chunks. That is another way we could actually earn some white chunks. If we spent a little bit of time with the forest hunters and successfully killed hosts that were trying to violate Darkroot Forest, we could earn some white chunks. Totally random, not a wholly reliable method for getting stuff, but you can snag things. I'm just kind of burning through this first part of New Londo as well, completely ignoring the ghosts, though they are not ignoring me. I'm just trying to get to this first little safe spot and not burn one of my transient curses. Transient curse, of course, lets you both defend against and harm these ghosts. There's only a couple different ways to do it. One, if you are cursed. If you went down into the sewers in the depths and got basilisked, you could actually kill these guys at the penalty of half HP. Or you can use one of these transient curse items that allows you to affect them. And there's a couple of weapons. There's a small handful of weapons in the game that are cursed as well, and you can hurt them with those, but you still can't block anything that they're doing. You can't shoot spells or sorceries or miracles at them or anything like that. You can only hurt them with that cursed weapon. Just kind of a cool thing. But I ignored all the ones at the beginning. If you come here on the little, well, it was close, on the little steps behind me, that's actually a safe spot. All the ghosts from the beginning will lose aggro and return to their positions, and all the ones beyond this point will lose aggro and move away as well. So if you needed to stop, take a breather, heal up, you could do so on those steps. These ghosts can be pretty dangerous as well, just because, in their nature, non-corporeal specters, they are not governed by the rules of geometry and just pass through walls, so they can chase you when it doesn't really seem like they're chasing you, and they'll just come out of nowhere. Trying to hit these guys too, I'm unlocking and angling my camera up. That actually makes your character swing higher than you normally do. A lot of these ghosts are kind of levitating off the ground, and if you lock onto them and just swing away, a lot of times your swipes will pass underneath where they're floating. So if you unlock and angle the camera up, you'll swing a little bit higher, just have a little bit better chance to hit them, in my experience at least. There's one of those keepers. Since we have the Lord Vessel, he'll just give us the key, scot-free. If you don't have the Lord Vessel, he'll give you some crap about history and won't do anything. You can still kill him to get the key. A lot of speedrunners do that as a trick. You can stand on those steps back on the safe spot and snipe them with arrows, and it'll automatically add the key to your inventory. It's not like a drop that you have to run up there and retrieve. So that's a handy little shortcut trick. Since we got the Lord Vessel, ain't no thing. We got the key. We're just headed for this little water main that will unlock some elevators, allow you to take some shortcuts, and it defloods the lower areas. We are not going to press on. From here, we're not going to press on via the normal path. We are actually going to Homeward Bone back to Firelink and advance via a shortcut shortly after entering New Londo, just to bypass some of the level. We do not need the very large Ember. We're not going to use any regular weapons ascended past +10. If you are a melee build or a quality build, dex, strength, whatever it is, you'd probably want to get that Ember before this point, actually. But before doing anything further, if you want regular weapons upgraded to +15, snag that Ember. We don't, so we're just going to skip it all together and move ahead. Try and shortcut a little bit to the King's. Weird. Summon sign. I didn't pick it up. I usually don't pick up summon signs that I see in weird places, because I assume that they're in weird places because it's a couple of specific guys trying to co-op with each other. Nothing pisses me off more than summoning somebody for help and then having them immediately black crystal out. They see you and it's like, oh, that's not who I was waiting for to summon me, and then they just bail. Just an irritating little thing. Here's our shortcut. This is actually what I do when I come down here and need to farm Titanite chunks from these wraiths. I'll just jump off that initial beginning part instead of going all the way through to the elevator. Drops you down at a little bit of an advanced position, pretty close to the boss arena. Coming at it from this direction can actually make snagging the very large Ember a little easier too. If you come down this way and then work backwards, a lot of those wraiths are facing the other direction, so you can kind of sneak up on them, get your initial backstab, and it makes it a lot less likely that more than one of them will notice you at the same time. There's a couple of areas down here where 2 or 3 or even 5 of them will all notice you at the same time and then just charge and gang mob your ass. These guys can be pretty difficult in large numbers because they've got some wicked combos. They hit pretty hard and they can chew you pretty quickly if there's a bunch of them all at the same time going into their little 4-hit barrages. The little shortcut we took also means we only have to deal with one of these globs. There's this weird gelatinous blob of tar and what looks like undead remains coming up here, spitting out these exploding heads. He's got some spears he'll shoot out at you and some ooze that slows you down, slowly drains your HP. They have a lot of HP themselves. They're not exactly difficult to take out, but they're pretty tanky. So there's a spear. So they can take a lot of hits. And I'm just going to zap him with my bolts. I do want to take this one out because he makes, having him gone makes running through here in subsequent runs a lot quicker. It's just one less thing to worry about. Those guys don't respawn. And I'm actually going to go around this little corner and try and summon Beatrice as a helper against the 4 kings. One last wraith to take out too, who's waiting for you just in his dark little alley, like a mugger. So we'll slay this dude, partake in a little bit of witch action, and then take on the kings. I kind of like Witch Beatrice. I think she's pretty cool. Her sign's going to be up here along the way. I should point out it's only available here if you used her against the butterfly as well. And I believe she is from a long time ago. I don't think she's part of like this timeline that your character exists in. But then again, the flow of time is distorted in Lordran, so who's to say if anybody really is. But I think she's like Iron Tarkus in that she was alive a long time ago and her sign still lingers for unfinished business, helping you against the kings and the butterfly. I believe the kings actually killed her as well. In her timeline, I think the kings killed her because once you defeat them, you can snag her set in the Valley of Drakes. A little bit down the way, you can grab her little hat and her black robes and have a little Witch Beatrice cosplay or whatnot. I think she's kind of cool too because she's rogue. She is not affiliated with any of the sorcery schools like Griggs is or like Big Hat Logan. She is just kind of a natural wild mage. Didn't study anywhere. She can just cast because she can cast. I think that's kind of cool. I wish I hadn't summoned her though. She does not provide a lot of help against the 4 kings. It makes sense kind of because that they killed her because they're fairly resistant to magic damage, as we are about to find out. And having a summon with us, of course, increases their HP, makes them a little bit more difficult as a boss, and I'm about to regret having summoned Beatrice. But let's see how this plays out. No spoilers. And these guys can be pretty tricky. Generally, I struggle to take out the 4 kings cleanly. A lot of times I get popped quite a few times, but there's some damage reduction techniques you can do to really make it not hurt quite as badly, namely staying in close. If you do, watch out for their little grab attack. This will only trigger when you're in tight with them. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it does suck down your soft humanity. We just went from 19 to 18. But the advantage of staying in tight with them, their swipes, if you do get sloppy with your rolls, your dodges, accidentally fire heals that were supposed to be lightning spears, don't hurt quite as much. Their weapons have huge sweet spot systems in effect. So if you get tagged with the blade proper, like that, it does a lot more damage than if you're in close and they hit you with either the hilt or the arm portion of it. Oh my heavens, this is going so badly. It's a fairly time-sensitive fight as well. You can see there's 2 of them now. As the fight drags on, more and more of them will pop up. Oddly enough, there's not necessarily 4. Sometimes you can kill these guys so quickly that only 3 of them will pop up. The number that show up is tied to their overall health bar down there at the bottom, not specifically the 4 of them being kings. Sometimes there's 3. I've gone up to 5. I have no idea how many will actually show up. Maybe I'll experiment with that one of these days. And... ooh, successful dodge. Not successful dodge. Nice little stun lock combo between the 2 of them. So it is a pretty time-sensitive fight. You really want to kill these guys as quickly as possible when there's only 1 of them around. Pretty tough to do with magic damage and a magic damage dealing weapon. They are pretty resistant to all things magic. I'm going to try and take them on solo this time, see if we can have a little bit better attempt. Smarter man might have come down here with a lightning weapon. You know, we could absolutely have taken that lightning spear we picked up in Sens and spent a couple chunks on it, since we're not using chunks anywhere else, and that would have fared a little bit better than our divine partisan. Smarter man probably also would have swapped out to his crest shield to block that projectile. Man, their projectiles track like motherfuckers. Those things will chase you forever. So usually it's better just to swap out to your shield for a second, take the chip damage from them, just to get them out of the air. Because those things can initiate combos with these guys wildly swinging away as well. Man, our spear is just doing pittance. Barely 100 points of damage per poke. Another errant heal as well as the rage dizzies. So the slop continues. Now, a couple more of them have popped out. We don't have any friends to distract aggro, but if you stay in tight with these guys, the other ones that show up do have an aggro range. Ouch. So a lot of times, if one pops up in the distance, if you stay close to the one you're currently fighting, the far one will not always aggro. They are not programmed to instantly rush in and gang mob you. I think that comes up a little bit later too, where there's one so far away on the horizon that he doesn't even see us. He's just standing there until we get a little bit closer to him. So that can help manage things if you do have like a weak hitting weapon, or you're not able to output damage quick enough to kill them before other ones pop up. That can help mitigate the risk of having, I don't know, 6 kings on you. Doesn't always play out that way, but with a little RNG luck, sometimes the distant ones don't throw themselves into the fray. Kind of wishing we had kept our wolf ring on too, instead of the Ring of the Sun's Firstborn, because they keep interrupting my castings with just their little chip damage hits. But from here on out, the strategy is just a war of attrition. I'm just going to keep staying in tight, making sloppy roll dodges where I can, and if they do hit you, it doesn't do too much damage, and I'll pop off those miracles when I have the opportunity. And you know what, our miracles actually are doing pretty good damage. Maybe these guys aren't as resistant to magic as I thought. Maybe it's just our split damage partisan that's letting us down so ferociously. But dude, if you come in here with a good scaling, fast swinging weapon, especially buffed with pine resin or Dark Moon Blade or something like that, you will absolutely burn through these guys. We're down to our last one. We'll just poke away, do what we can. Looks like we're gonna survive the war of attrition. So one last little poke. Yeah, there we go. They'll enter into their death rattle cutscene, and the 4 kings are no more. New Londo has been conquered, and I guess the abyss has been calmed a little bit as well. Get a nice little bonfire floating out in space, and it's safe to take off your Covenant ring now. You no longer need the Covenant of Artorias to bomb around down here. You can warp back to this bonfire, do whatever you need to do in the abyss, talk to Kaathe without the ring. It is safe. It is now solid footing. Talking to Kaathe, man, he will give you an absolute novel of dialogue. He'll tell you about how you're being manipulated and how linking the first flame is exactly what Gwyn wants to continue on in the Age of Fire. And Kaathe says, no, man. You gotta end the Age of Fire and issue in the Age of Man, the Age of Dark. Why don't you place the Lord Vessel with me? And we say, okay, I don't care about your philosophy. I don't care about role-playing with this character, but we do want your Covenant, and placing the Lord Vessel with him is the only way to access the Darkwraiths. So we'll talk to him again, join up. It'll actually give you a Dark Hand, which is actually, I think, a pretty slick little item. It allows you to suck humanity from people, just like the 4 kings did to us. It also works as a little, very unstable, but decently light, like very, very light shield if you use it in your offhand. And it's got a cool little swirly effect. It looks pretty slick. We're gonna sit here and just feed him the humanity from our soft counter to get up to rank 1. We don't need to go out invading. We don't need to work for it. We got plenty of humanity. And we want to get to rank 1 to get that red eye orb. There it is. Unlimited invasions. And that's all we need from him. I'm going to check his inventory quick to see if there's anything in there that I want to buy, but not really. So we can go join up with any other Covenant and still take advantage of our unlimited use invasion item. We are going to head back to Firelink. We want to stick it to Frampt a little bit. Say, hey man, I know the truth now. You just go back down to wherever it is that weird whiskered catfish looking toothy serpents go. Got a new buddy. We're also going to put our Dark Hand to work a little bit. Coming back to Firelink Shrine, we can use our Dark Hand against some of the friendly NPCs that we've rescued along the way. All the guys hanging out in Firelink have some degree of humanity on them. So we can use our Dark Hand to pull that from them. Doesn't aggro them, and it'll replenish a little bit of that which we lost in our soft counter. Actually, not all of them do. Actually, Sigmire, he either doesn't have any humanity on him, or his heavy onion armor prevents you from going vampiric on him. We'll test that a little bit down the way. Same thing with Crestfallen. I assume he probably doesn't have any humanity, just being so sad, so despondent. But it won't even enter into the little sucky animation. Griggs does, though. Thanks for that. Laurentius does. Thanks for that. And funny, like Laurentius sitting down, you can't connect with him and the Dark Hand. So just give him a kick. Give him the toe of your boot. That'll stand him up. Now we can get him. Yeah, we go. Look at us making out. Oh, Laurentius. And actually, if you go down into New Londo early for whatever reason and snag a Dark Hand, and you're around in Firelink when Rhea is here, Rhea has a crap ton of humanity on her person. I think you can suck 13 or 16 humanity out of her before she takes off and gets trapped down in the catacombs. She's dead, of course, in our game. Petrus already killed her. Petrus is dead as well. Otherwise, we could suck from him. Probably should find a different way to phrase that. But here's Sigmire. For whatever reason, you just give him, it just shows damage. I wonder if you sat here and just kept spamming that, would he eventually aggro? I wonder if that counts as a hit. Same thing with this guy. Nothing. He just oofs and stands up. Look at him. Stood up. He's feeling froggy. What is it, buddy? Do something. Do something. We're not going to do anything more. We're going to wrap it on that one. And I believe next we'll head for the Tomb of Giants. We want to finish off our partisan. So we're going to head back that way. Grab some chunks, grab the slab, take on Nito, first of the dead, and continue on. Thanks as always. Let me know, what did I miss? What did I get wrong? What do you do differently? See you in the next one. Alright, bye.